I'm going to show you how to create a real-time AI avatar that can talk to your customers, answer questions, and even book appointments all on its own. It's fully interactive, sounds human, and can run live on Zoom or your website. It speaks naturally, responds instantly, and handles real-time conversations like a trained assistant. Whether you want to use it for sales calls, customer support, or managing inbound leads 24/7, in this video I'm going to show you how to give it a voice, wire it up to your calendar and CRM, and get it live fast.
Thank you for calling the dental clinic. How can I help you today?
Hi there, I'm looking to schedule a teeth cleaning session.
Of course, I'd be happy to help with that. Are you a new patient with us, or have you visited before?
I'm a new patient.
Great, welcome. Could I please get your full name to get started with the appointment?
Yeah, my name is Jim Brad.
Thanks, Jim. And what's a good contact number for you?
A good contact for me is 123-456-7890.
Got it, thank you. Do you have a preferred date or time in mind for your cleaning, or would you like me to check the earliest
Let's
availability?
do Wednesday, July 30th at 2 p.m.
Thank you for that. It seems I just need your email as well to confirm the appointment in our system. Could you please
Yeah,
provide
my
that?
email is jimmybradford55@yahoo.com. And then when you get the chance, can you just send me over an email? Thank you.
You're very welcome. The appointment is all set for July 30th at 2 p.m., and I'll send you a confirmation email shortly. Was there anything else you'd like to ask or any other concerns today?
And as you can see, I just received the confirmation email right here, as well as the appointment on my calendar. This is the basic workflow of our project. So all that we are doing is dialing in as the caller. LiveKit is going to clean up our audio and feed it into our AI agent. Our AI agent is going to transcribe our audio from speech to text to be able to figure out what we are saying and what we want to do. And then once our agent figures out the action that we want to take, we are going to feed that to an MCP server if we want to send an email or book an appointment or add this customer to our CRM. It'll do that through the Zapier MCP. Now the agent's also going to generate a response to say, but we won't just be able to hear it because we're going to have an AI avatar attached to it using a software called Tavus. So we're going to be able to speak with this agent, not just audibly, but we will visually see a face attached to this agent. And we are giving it capabilities with a Zapier MCP server, which basically just allows our agent to act on our behalf, which we'll set up in Zapier. All right, the first thing you want to do is head over to livekit.io. LiveKit is just an open source software that you can use to help build AI voice agents. It's very simple to use and set up. So click here on Start Building. And the first thing we need to do is create a project. So go to the bottom left corner and click on Create New Project. I'm going to call mine Tutorial. Now go back to the bottom left corner and select the project that you just created. All right, now we need to grab our LiveKit API keys. So go over to the left-hand side where it says Settings and navigate down to API keys. Go to the top right corner where it says Create Key and click that. I'm going to name my key Tutorial as well. Now that our LiveKit API key has been created, we need to copy this fourth box down here, which we're going to put in an environment file in our code. So copy this box and head over to your IDE. Now in your development environment, open a new project. I'm going to create a new folder and call it Avatar Setup. Let me open that. We need to create several files now. First, I'm going to have us create our environment file since we just copied our API keys, and we can paste in what we copied from LiveKit right now. Next, we're going to create an agent.py file. This is going to be the functionality for our voice agent. We're also going to be needing a prompts file so we can assign a persona to our agent. We also need to make a requirements file so we can include our needed dependencies and install them. And we also need a tools.py file. This is going to be a file where we can write functions and add some extra functionality to our voice agent beyond just being able to speak with us. The next thing we need to do is set up our Python virtual environment. This is just going to be a folder where we can install all of our dependencies in. So open up the terminal. On Mac, you can do this by hitting Control \. And the command we're going to run is python 3-m venv. Now we've created our virtual environment, and in order to activate it, we have to run the command source venv/bin/activate it. Now that our Python virtual environment is set up, we need to install our required dependencies. So head over to requirements.txt. You can just pause the video and copy and paste these in your requirements.txt file. Once you've done that, save this file and head over to the terminal. And the command we need to run is pip install -r requirements.txt. The next thing we need is our OpenAI API key. So head over to platform.openai.com/API-keys. And this is going to take you to their API platform. Just click up here in the top right corner where it says create new secret key. And once you create one, copy that and head back over to the code. Back in the code in our environment file, create a new line that says OpenAI_API_key and paste in that OpenAI key that you just created. Back in our browser, we need to go to the LiveKit docs. So search up LiveKit voice quick start, and select this first link right here that says voice AI quick start. What we need right now is our agent.py file that LiveKit provides to us. So scroll down to where it says agent code. Make sure you have real-time model selected and copy this agent.py file. This is going to set up the functionality for our voice agent. Make sure you have this copied and head back over to your code. So here's what's happening in this file. First, we're importing what we need, like LiveKit agents, OpenAI's real-time model, and noise cancellation. And then we're loading our .env file. So those are those API keys that we just pasted in. Next, we're defining an assistant class, which is just a basic voice bot with some starting instructions saying you are a helpful voice AI assistant. And then in this entry point function, we are starting a session. So when a user joins the room, it launches the assistant with OpenAI's voice model and noise cancellation. And it makes the assistant say hello. Right when it connects, it'll greet us with this and offer some help. Then this line at the very bottom is just running the agent. It starts everything when the file is run. So this whole file is just setting up a voice agent that joins a LiveKit room, greets us, and is ready to talk using OpenAI's voice model and LiveKit's audio pipeline. We need to run one more command to finish setting up our voice agent, and that is in order to use these plugins, we actually have to download the model files. And in order to download these files from the plugins, the docs specify to run the command python3 agent.py download files. All right, our voice agent is almost done being set up. Let's just add one more things to the instructions. What I want to add is make sure to speak English, because if we don't put that, our voice agent could unexpectedly speak in different languages. Save this file, head back down to the terminal, and run the command python3 agent.py console. Hey, can you just tell me a fun fact about San Francisco?
Sure. A fun fact about San Francisco is that it's home to the famous fortune cookie.
Got it. And can you tell me what your purpose is?
Sure. My purpose is to assist you by providing helpful information, answering questions, and making your day a bit easier.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
You're welcome. Talk to you later.
And you can press Control C to quit it. Amazing. We see that we could speak with a voice agent in the terminal, meaning that we set it up correctly. Now that we've built our LiveKit voice agent, it's time to connect it to tools that actually do things, like sending emails, updating a CRM, and booking appointments. That's where the MCP server comes in. If you've never heard of MCP or are unsure of what it means, don't worry, I'm going to explain it and you'll understand in the rest of this video. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it acts like a central router for your agent's tool calls. What I mean by that is, instead of hard-coding logic for each app, we just send structured requests to the MCP server, and the server decides which tool to call and which action to take. For this tutorial, we're using Zapier's MCP integration, which gives our agent access to Gmail to send follow-up emails, Google Calendar to schedule appointments, and Google Sheets to update our CRM. Once our MCP server is set up, your agent can actually do useful stuff, not just talk. So let's wire up these tools and get everything connected. Set up your Zapier MCP server, go back to Chrome and search up Zapier MCP. It's going to be this first link, and mind you, this is still completely free as it's still in the beta phase. So click on Get Started and create an account. After you create an account, you'll get to this stage and click on New MCP Server. For the MCP client, make sure you have Other selected, and for the name, you can name it anything you'd like. I'm just going to keep mine simple and call it MCP Server. Now our MCP server is created. We have 3 tabs here: Configure, Connect, and History. So configure is how we set up our tools and our linked automations to our MCP server. So we want our sales agent to be able to send emails and book appointments on a calendar. So these are the 2 integrations that we'll be using, but you could use anything you'd like, as there's 8,000 apps linked. Like they have Notion, Salesforce. They have a lot of apps that you can link your MCP server to. And in Connect, this is the URL that we're going to be needing to connect to our MCP server in our IDE. And this history will show you the list of tool calls that you make using this MCP server. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a tool. And the first functionality that we're going to be testing out is the Gmail functionality. So click on Gmail right here. You'll need to authenticate your Gmail account to your Zapier login so that it'll be able to send emails on your behalf. Scroll down here to where it says Send Email. And then we need to configure it a little bit, so click on it again. We're going to be sending it from our Gmail account. And all of these, we're going to be having AI generate a value for this field. So click Save. Also, we need our MCP client folder from LiveKit. So if you head to another tab and search up LiveKit MCP, you're going to see a GitHub repository that's called LiveKit Examples Basic MCP. Click on that and head over to this green button right here where it says Code, and we're going to need to download a zip file version of this repository. This allows us to access an MCP server using LiveKit voice agents. Download the zip file. Once you download the zip file and decompress it, you'll see you'll have this basic MCP main folder. The only thing we need is this MCP client subdirectory. This is what's going to let us access MCP in LiveKit. Now I'm going to take this folder and drag and drop it into my IDE. And I'll click copy folder. And that way it'll be included in the root directory. Now that our MCP client is in our working directory, click on that and we have to make one simple edit to our agent tools.py file. So right here on line 99, where we're building the parameters for the schema properties, I was getting an error where the agent was trying to send emails, but it was confusing the from with the from keyword in Python. So go ahead and add these lines in just so you don't get that error yourself. That's the only change we need to make to any of these files in the MCP client directory. Back in Zapier, we need to grab our server URL. This is how we're going to ensure one-way communication between the server and the client. So make sure in transport, instead of streamable HTTP, you have SSE selected, and then make sure you copy the server URL and head back to your code. Back in the code, head over to your environment file, and we need a new variable for the MCP server URL. So write in Zapier _MCP _server _URL. And then paste in that link that we just copied. Head over to your agent.py file because we do have to make a couple of changes in order for our MCP server to work. So over here at the top, we have to make some imports. The first one is from MCP _client, import MCP server SSE. And then the next one we have to make is from MCP _client.agent _tools, import MCP tools integration. Oh, not interface, integration. There we go. And then we also need to make sure that we are importing our operating system because we are going to be using that later. And the next thing we need to do is right here under where we declare this session instance, paste in these two things right here. Now this is how we set up our MCP server. The reason we needed our operating system is because we needed access to our environment file to give us this Zapier MCP server URL, which we put in ourselves to allow us to connect to our own Zapier MCP. Here we are declaring our agent, which is going to help us execute different tool calls like sending an email or booking an appointment on our calendar. And we are passing in the MCP server that we have just made. Now that we have created our agent, which is going to be executing different tool calls within our MCP server we created in Zapier, we need to be passing this agent variable into the session. So instead of assistant right here, just type in agent and save that. All right. One more thing I recommend adding is writing in here. You can use the tools provided to you to help the user. And in parentheses, I put the Zapier MCP server. Also, one more thing to make sure you include is to put here, make sure to speak English because sometimes you can speak unexpected languages if you don't specify which language you want. So now it's time to test it to see if our agent can actually access this MCP server and have the functionality to be able to send an email. So let's go down to the terminal and run Python 3 agent.py console.
Hi there. How can I help you today?
Hey, can you send an email for me, please?
Of course. Just let me know the details like the recipient, subject, and what you'd like to say in the email.
Yeah, I'd like it to jimmybradford55@yahoo.com. I want the subject to be hey and the message to be test.
The email has been sent. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to help with.
Thank you. All right, so it looks like it successfully executed the tool call. Let's check my inbox and the Zapier history to see if it actually went through. Back in Zapier, let's check on the history of our MCP server. So right here, you can see we have this one Gmail send email tool call, and we successfully executed it and sent it to jimmybradford55@yahoo.com. So let's go over to my inbox to see if I actually received this email. And we can see that I have received the email for myself with the subject hey and the message as test. So our voice agent is correctly accessing this MCP server and is able to send emails by just us speaking to it. Let's head back to this configure tab. The next thing we wanted to do is to be able to schedule calendar appointments and put appointments on our calendar based on what we've agreed upon in the call. So down here in tools, click on add tool, and we're going to want to select Google Calendar. Now for this one, we want to be able to create a calendar event. So scroll down to where it says quick add event. And we want to edit that a little bit. So the Google Calendar account will be my email, of course, but for the calendar, we want to select the calendar. So set a specific value for this field. And this is just going to be my regular calendar that I have on my Gmail account. Everything else besides that, we can have AI generate a value for this field, like describing the event and the different attendees. So save this. Once this is saved, we can head back to our terminal to test it out. Back in our terminal, we can once again run Python 3 agent.py console. Hey there, can you book an appointment for me on my calendar? Yeah, it's just a dentist appointment at 9 a.m. on Sunday, July 27th. Okay, now let's go check our calendar and our Zapier history to see that we successfully booked the appointment and it's on our calendar. Okay, so in the history tab, we see that the tool call successfully executed. We've added the event to our calendar. Now, if I go to my Google Calendar, I see the dentist appointment that I told the voice agent to book for me, 9 a.m. on Sunday, July 27th. So we see that our voice agent can send emails for us and also book appointments on our calendar. There's one more thing that I want our agent to do, and that is to be able to add customers to our database. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be using Google Sheets so that when we get off the phone with the customer, we know who we spoke to and we have a record of that in our database, which is a Google Sheet. Here in Google Sheets, we're just going to click on Create New Spreadsheet, and I'm going to call the spreadsheet Customer Leads. For the first row, I'll input name, and then for the second row, I'll just add the details. So save that. Now let's head back to Zapier because we need to add the tool for Google Sheet functionality. So click on Add Tool and then select Google Sheets. And what we want to do is create a new spreadsheet row. So click on this, and we want to edit it a little bit. So we have a specific spreadsheet we wanted to edit. We want to set a specific value for this field, and it's just that customer lead spreadsheet that we just created. For the rest, we can just have AI choose the values and then save that. Let's head over back to our code to test this in the terminal. All right, now let's test it out again. So Python 3 agent.py console. Yeah, can you just help me save some information about a customer? I just want to save Tim Johnson, and for the details, just put following up later. Let me know when you're done. Awesome. Thank you. I'll check it out. All right, so it looks like the tool call successfully executed. Let's go ahead and check it in Google Sheets. Nice. And in customer leads, we see we have Tim Johnson, and we're following up later. Now we want to assign a face or an AI avatar to our voice agent. In order to do that, we're going to be using a software called Tavus. So head over back to Chrome and search up Tavus, and it's usually going to be the first link. Go ahead and create an account, and then once you sign up, just click Login. Once you're on the homepage, go to the left and click on Create Persona. You can click on the replica to choose which avatar you'd like to use. So for this example, I'm going to use Mary. The personal role will be Sales Assistant. And then for the system prompt, we'll have Sales Assistant again, just because we're going to be overriding this prompt with our prompts.py file in our code. So click on Create Persona. Now there's two things you need. The first one is the persona ID and then the replica ID. So copy both of these and then head over back to your code. The third and last thing we need is our API key. So head over back here to the left and scroll down to the bottom where it says API keys. Click on Create API key. You can name this whatever you'd like. And click on Create API key. Copy this and then head over back to your code. Now let's paste the persona ID, replica ID, and Tavus API key in our environment file like so. And once you do that, click Save. Now we can go to the LiveKit docs to check how we can integrate Tavus. So look up LiveKit Tavus integration. And it'll be this first link right here. And the first command that we need is actually installing the Tavus Agents plugin. So copy that and let's paste that in our terminal. So run the command that we just copied, and after running this command, now we have our Tavus plugin installed. The next thing the doc suggests to do is to change up our agent.py file. So the main changes that we need to make are importing Tavus from the LiveKit plugins. And then we also have to define this avatar variable with our replica ID and persona ID, as well as our API key we just included. So let's go make those changes in our code. All right, the first thing we have to do per the LiveKit Tavus integration docs is import Tavus from our LiveKit plugins. So make sure you have Tavus included in the imports up here, and make sure you're importing the operating system as well. Next, under where we declare the session instance, we need to include this from the docs, which is just defining our avatar instance with the environmental variables that we pasted in our environment file. So save that, and let's go back to the docs to check out the next step. Next, we have to start the avatar and wait for it to join. So let's include that function. And we can add that here right above the session start function and save it. Last thing we have to do is disable audio output to the room because it says the avatar plugin publishes audio separately. So copy this function and head over to the session start function of the voice agent. First, we need to import room output options over here at the top from LiveKit agents. And then in the agent start function, we have the room input options that we are assigning the noise cancellation to. But we want to input the room output options that the docs were mentioning so that we have audio enabled because the avatar plugin publishes audio separately. So save this and we're all good to go. Our avatar is all set up. Now that we're all set up, let's test speaking to our AI voice agent, which now has an AI avatar attached to it. But we're not going to be doing that in the console like we've been running in this video. We're actually going to run that in the LiveKit playground. Now, the LiveKit playground is just a website LiveKit has made that makes it super easy to speak with voice agents and AI avatars in a really simple user interface. The first thing we need to do is run a command in our terminal. Instead of running this in the console, we're going to run python3 agent.py dev. And once you click enter, now head over to Google. Now that we're in Google, search up LiveKit Playground, and it's going to be the first link. Connect to the project that you created at the beginning of this video. For me, that was tutorial, and click on connect.
Hello there. How can I assist you today?
Hey there, can you tell me a fun fact about San Francisco?
Sure. One fun fact about San Francisco is that the famous cable cars are actually the only moving National Historic landmarks in the entire world. They've been in
Thank you.
operation
And
since
can you
the
tell me
late
what your
19...
purpose is?
Sure. My purpose is to help answer questions, provide information, assist with tasks like
We see that our AI avatar and our voice agent are working in sync, meaning we've successfully set up both. Now we want to edit the persona of our agent to act like an appointment setter for a dental clinic. In order to do that, we have to change the instructions that we're giving it. So right now it's pretty bland. It's just you are a helpful voice AI assistant. You have the functionality implemented to send emails and yada, yada, yada. You need to add two things. First, the agent instructions. So that's a general overview of how this agent should act. And then the session instructions, which is going to be how it's going to act in this specific session. So I've already prepared this for myself. You can grab this from my GitHub repository that I linked in the descriptions. You need the two things, agent instructions and session instructions here. You can see for the agent instructions, we have you are a professional and friendly dental clinic appointment setter. And then for the session instructions, give it a flow to follow so that we're not just asking random questions, but it actually has a structure to the conversation. In order to include this in the agent.py file, first make sure you save the prompts file, and then over here on the imports, we need to import both of these instructions from the prompts file. So put from prompts, import agent instruction and session instructions. And the agent instructions are going to go right here, this first set of instructions. So delete this sentence and then just paste in agent instructions. And then for the session instructions, we're going to include that on the bottom. So right here in this generate reply function, select this sentence, delete that, and then put session instructions here. All right, so save that. Now let's test if this is actually reflected in the LiveKit playground. Once again, we can run python3 agent.py dev. And once this is running, we can head back to the LiveKit playground. Now let's connect and wait for our AI voice agent to appear.
Hello. Thank you for calling the dental clinic. How can I help you today?
I'd like to book a cleaning appointment.
Of course, I'd be happy to help with that. Is this your first time visiting our clinic, or have you been here before?
This is my first time.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. Let me just get a few details from you to make sure we schedule everything properly. Can I have your full name, please?
Yes, my full name is James Bradford.
Thank you, James. What's a good contact number for you?
A good contact number is 123-456-7890.
Got it. And do you have a preferred date or time in mind for your cleaning appointment?
Yeah, could we do July 30th at 4 p.m.? And could you also send me an email with this information?
Absolutely. Could you please provide your email address?
Yeah, the email address is jimmybradford55@yahoo.com.
I've sent you an email confirmation with all the appointment details. To finalize, do you have dental insurance you'd like us to note down?
Nope, that's it for me.
No problem at all. You're all set for July 30th at 4 p.m. We look forward to seeing you, and if you have any questions before then, just let us know. Thanks again for choosing us.
Thank you. All right, so we see that our AI avatar agent is showing up and can successfully book us appointments for our dental clinic. That's it for this video, guys. If you completed or tried to finish the project, let me know in the comments, and I have a new tutorial coming out very soon, so I'll see you in the next one.